Hey, hello everyone. Hey, Danielle and Curtis.
Hello, how are you doing,
Hello.
Jason?
Thanks for joining us. Hello everyone. Welcome to the 24th San Francisco Independent Film Festival 2022. We have just watched The Roommate. I'm Jason Willis, a programmer here at SF Indie Fest. Thank you guys for watching The Roommate and joining us here for the Q&A. And I think The Roommate is presented in person. You guys are one of the live ones at the Roxy Theater in San Francisco. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I believe we play maybe Monday night, the 7th.
You are correct. The Monday night, February 7th at 9:15.
All right.
And
Well, if I'm there, hello in person, and if I'm not there, hello from virtual world.
yeah, yeah. If you do come, please come up to me and say hello. Introduce yourself. Let's meet
Yeah,
each other
certainly.
in the real world. Um, First off, congratulations to both of you for finishing the film and also getting into this film festival, SF Indie Fest.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Honored to be part of it.
I know making a movie is not easy. I'm a filmmaker myself. Is this your first film, feature film, Curtis?
Yes, this is my first feature. I've done some shorts that I've directed and produced and shot, and I've worked on features, but this was the first one that I wrote and directed.
Right, you're forgive me if I mispronounce your names or I don't get the information correctly, but I think you got your own production company. Maybe you're a camera guy or you're a
Yeah,
producer. What are you doing?
yeah, I mean, I do it all with my production company. Right now, I'm actually the director of photography on a series, a documentary series that I can't divulge any information on, but it'll be on broadcast TV later this year. So, when I'm hired out, I'm usually working as a cinematographer, DP, something along those lines.
Got
But
it.
with my own production company, I work with a lot of musicians, so I'm directing a lot of music videos or EPKs or you know.
Cool. Well, we'll be
Things
talking
like
about
that.
that during this Q&A because your film involves a lot of musicians and
Yeah, right.
music. And then how about you, Danielle? You are a full-time actress, and where are you living? Where are you calling in from?
I'm in Austin. Yeah. And I kind of dual, I do acting and then I also do costume design.
Oh,
So yeah, I kind of split the difference between those two. I tend to stick more with acting if I can, but costume design is definitely an interest of mine and something that I do kind of for my day job so that I don't have to have a day job.
right on. Here you pays the bills. Well, you do a great job acting in this. You didn't do costume design in this, did you?
No, 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 no.
Because sometimes on lower budget independent films, there's multiple hats worn.
I
So I'm
have
just
done that.
checking.
I don't
Yeah.
recommend it.
Or let me just talk about Curtis and Danielle. Did you borrow from your wardrobe your clothing at all, Danielle? Because I do that sometimes in the movies I work on.
Yeah, we did. So actually, the woman who costume designed this taught me how to costume design and kind of I came up with her in the costume design world. Her name is Erin Brooke, and she's just lovely. And yeah, so whenever I got cast in this, she called me and she was like, "Okay, cool. So let's see what we can get from your world of closets." And we kind
So
of
you rated your
thrifted and
closet.
what's that?
You rated your closet.
Raided my closet, raided her closet, went thrifting, did a bunch of stuff in between all of those things and found the right stuff. So
I
Right on.
believe our first meeting after I cast you was with Aaron, right? We got
yeah, I think
together
so.
and
Yeah.
discussed wardrobe because it was a
It
good
was
way to get
quick.
into the character. And yeah, yeah, and
Yeah,
we
and
didn't
it
have a
was
lot of time.
yeah, I
Uh,
think it was like a week or so out
yeah,
from filming. So
From when you got cast.
yeah.
yeah,
Not
uh,
was it?
yeah. About I remember you said something to me
Oh,
at the
you're
end
right,
of
it
the
was.
day, at the end of the casting day, as we sort of did something where we had the people on callbacks. I mixed and matched all day,
Yeah.
and I a few of the actors told me they liked that because it reminded them of theater auditions, and that's
Hmm.
great because I was a theater major.
Yeah.
But I
Same.
remember when we were getting Johnny to come in to do your scene, and you were sitting in the room alone, and you said, "Do you start filming a week from today?" And I said, "Yes." Why are you not available? And you said, "No, I've just never seen a director so calm a week out." But I was calm. because I knew I just found my actress. So if you'd seen
Yeah.
me 48 hours before auditions started, I was a little more nervous.
So Curtis, what about casting? Like, did you get all your cast or primary cast through just like casting calls?
A lot of the leads came through casting. We had an open audition. We had like I said, the next day was callbacks. A lot of the people, if they didn't get the lead role, obviously now I know, oh, this is a good actor. You can play this if I offer you this role. So a lot of the actors came from there. A few I knew already, such as A. Whitney Brown, I was already friends with. I did music video for his wife, who Carolyn Wonderland. She has a song in the movie as well. So there was a lot of people that I knew within the music industry that already were going to be cast. The only one I didn't know before we cast him was Hunt Sales, who plays Jack Straw. He I spoke to one of my musician friends. I said, "Man, I'm having a real problem finding a rock star who could be a credible criminal crime boss." And he said, "Oh, you know Hunt, right?" And I said, "Not really." He goes, "Oh, yeah, he is. He's a real crime boss, like rock star
Oh,
in real life." I said, "Well, can he act?" He goes, "Boy, he's been acting his whole life." So I was like, "Okay, great." So I met with him, and the first thing he said to me after reading the script was, uh, "So are we the Yardbirds?" Because he knew he read it and he knew, like, yeah, that's coming from Blow Up, and we're the Yardbirds, and we're the band playing as they wander through. And when I
yeah,
cast Danielle, I said, "Hey, I want you to check out these movies in the next 5 days before we start shooting." And one of them was Blow Up, and she sends me back a picture. Above her bed was a poster from the movie Blow Up, and I was like, okay, this is going to work out well. That's when you
cool.
know you've cast correctly.
Yeah, yeah. Real quick, just what other movies were references, if you can remember, besides Blow Up?
Well, I mean, I really love film noirs, and there was the part, there's three movies. There's the movie you write, the movie you shoot, and the movie you edit. So way back in the day, there was a lot of influence from the beginning. There was Blow Up, and The Conversation, and The Third Man, and things like that. And then as I was doing it, I kept watching more and more movies, and then when I was editing, I'd have films playing in the background all the time, and there was Touch of Evil was probably on for 72 straight hours at one point when I was cramming. So
Yeah.
I
And
kind of feel like in a way we have that uneven, quirky, mystery going on, like kind of like Touch of Evil, but I
yeah.
couldn't say that that's what I was thinking when I wrote it, 5 years ago. That
So
was something that,
you even kind of you listed this as a genre, like you called it like neo noir, right?
yeah, yeah.
Which intrigues me. I love that kind of potential genre if it is a new one. And so tell me more about that. So it's your influence from the film noirs, and then it's neo noir because it's just new and in color, maybe. I mean, what's neo noir?
Well, I mean, I think there's a lot of well, first of all, there's Alexis, Danielle's character, is, the amateur detective. Like, she's sleuthing. So a lot of typical noir conventions I probably turned around, because usually they're written from the point of view of the male protagonist is the amateur detective. So I feel like this was already starting off like, okay, we're taking that and we're going to go a different route with that.
Yeah,
And which makes, like, Eric, the Johnny's character, sort of the femme fatale in some, like reverse way. But you know, uh, I just feel like it was set in the crime world, so there was a lot of that neo noir, or there was a lot of film noir elements that just derived from that. And obviously, as I'm like shooting it and editing it and coloring it, and I'm like, yeah, let's bring it down. Let's make it dark. Let's make it.
yeah,
We have such bold, excellent colors. I mean, we had Charlie Pierce, who shot the movie, did a great job, and the colors are just really fantastic. But at the same time, it's like you're in these clubs and they're kind of like dungeons almost. So you want to like bring it down as much as you can, but then that light really pops as a result.
yeah. Before I forget this, and I know I talk about the cinematography because it looks beautiful, and also you you, whether you wanted to or intended to or not, you pay homage to Alfred Hitchcock with the little cameo at
Oh,
the end there.
yeah, yeah. I
That
mean,
is you, right?
obviously, I that was me. Yeah, I have watched a lot of Hitchcock during this as well, but I mean, I wouldn't say that anything was overtly Hitchcockian other than that cameo.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
but you know, I
Or did you just need the need you know a lot of times I'm in my own stuff because I need another person. That's like and you can't.
yeah, I mean, that's me and my wife in the last scene, so we
That's
were
great.
within our budget.
That's great. Now it is a beautifully shot film. I mean, uh,
Thank you.
it helps when you have beautiful actors. Danielle, the camera loves you, but then it's lit great too. I mean, and it's just great production value.
Yeah,
Tell
that
me about that a little bit.
saying who I want to say who lit it. My friend Scott Kahn, who's a good friend of mine. He's been working on Fear the Walking Dead here in Austin, and he came on during their hiatus to do it. And then they went back to Fear the Walking Dead, and we had another guy, Peter Clemick, come in, and he also did a great job. So I mean, I was very lucky to have a real professional crew, and obviously working at below their normal terms in a
Yeah,
lot of
it
situations.
looks like millions of dollars. Well done.
Well, thank you. I
And then
Can I
Danielle,
put
I
that
was
on a
watching with.
box? Can I get that actually quoted?
You can
Can I
quote me
use
right
that
there.
quote? Right. Great.
Absolutely,
All right.
absolutely.
Thank you.
And then Danielle, I was watching with my girlfriend, and she, I don't know if we've seen you before, but she's like, "Who is she? Who is she?" Uh, you look familiar. Have we seen you in something before? And what's your acting kind of career like?
Possibly. I mean, I've been in the horror world for a while. I think probably the widest release thing that I had most recently is a movie called Climate of the Hunter. And it's a very like strange art house 70s vampire love story.
Okay.
Um and but yeah, I mean I've definitely been in a lot of horror movies in the last 5 6 years, something like that.
And
um
does that take you to different locations, different states?
yeah, I have actually worked in Oklahoma a lot, like a lot more than Texas, honestly, which is interesting. But the director that I worked with the most there is a director named Mickey Reese,
Mm.
and he did Climate of the Hunter. And then I have a couple other people there that I work with pretty frequently. But yeah, I tend to kind of just, you know, go wherever, I need to go for whatever
Well,
script kind of
in
calls.
this movie opening in New York City, which is
Mhm.
pretty cool. I mean, that's a nice little plus. You got to fly to New York City. I mean, I love New York
Super
City.
fun.
Um, so, both of you, how was that? That was in the script, obviously.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's kind of extra production budget.
Yeah.
Um,
When I
Tell me about
wrote
that.
the first draft actually had more in New York City. That was the condensed, that's our budget, that's what our budget allows version of that opening. But that's better because I wanted to get Alexis onto the road as quickly as possible
Yeah.
and have her in Austin because that's where the story is taking place. But yeah, I used to work in New York, so I still have friends up there. So that was my good friend's small New York City authentic apartment that we filmed in and out on the fire escape. And I mean, it does lend a lot. And we were only there for what, I mean, what, 48 hours or something, like
I mean, you were there
72 hours.
for, yeah, I think Charlie and I flew in. I think we were there for like, I was there for a total of like 4 days.
Right.
Well,
Um,
I think it was completely necessary to set up, you know, the way the character would behave. You know, kind of
Mhm.
renting a room with a roommate unseen or without checking out. You know, if you would have somehow simulated we wouldn't. The audience wouldn't have believed her, right? I mean,
Right.
being in New York City, getting laid off, it sold us. I guess it hooked us, right? I think.
Awesome. Well, then it was well worth it.
it was
What
also in March of 2020 before everything happened.
Ah,
yeah.
that was going there too. It's like this was shot. pre-COVID?
Yes, it was literally, we put it in the can right as everything shut down. So
Wow.
when shutdown happened, that was a blessing and a curse. It meant that I wasn't going to be getting work anytime soon because I work in video production, and that ceased to exist. People try to do live streaming and stuff like that, but it really just wasn't, it's not going to replace what we were doing before.
Right.
From a business standpoint, but it allowed me plenty of time to edit the movie. So, I feel like that was, like I said, there's the 3 movies. So that third movie, I was glad to have that time devoted to it because it actually made it a better movie than what I had written and shot anyways. Because usually you get into post and you're rushing for some arbitrary deadline. But because we were in this pandemic, I didn't even have any film festival deadline. I had no deadlines basically because what am I going to submit to? Because nothing's really happening right now. So I just kept, honing it and working.
Yeah. Kind of beneficial timing for post-production.
Correct.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of music, so there was a lot of music in, music out, things coming, a lot of moving pieces, because when you're dealing with licensing that many musicians on, that took a lot of time and negotiation. And so there was a lot of things that were in for a long time, and then that's out, and now this new thing's in.
And forgive me if I don't remember correctly because I watched this like a week ago. Danielle, do you perform musically in this movie? I know you have the guitar and you want to go, and the character does. Do you perform in the movie?
No. So
No.
I don't play guitar.
Okay. Well, see, you fooled me.
I can act
She's
like
a good
I
actress. There you go.
Well, yeah, exactly. And again, compliments for your acting. You were excellent.
Thank you. Thank
I
you
thought
so
you
much.
were really good.
Her
So-
guitar playing was by my friend Gerardo Larios, who did our original music. He's in the band Spoon. So once again, very lucky to have, real quality, high quality professionals working, from the actors to the crew to the musicians. We were very fortunate.
So how did you know when Danielle was the right one, and when you're casting? Like what sold you on her?
Well, people have seen this movie, right? So, when this gets played,
Yeah.
so they'll have already seen this. So the scene that they had to read for the audition was the sitting in the festival grass while they're talking on mushrooms. And she not only nailed that, later she told me that she had taken what was it, one of your classes was actually, that was your obstacle that you had to act around.
Yeah. So I took a Meisner, I was in a Meisner program with my mentor, Richard Robichaud, who I owe everything to. But yeah, so we went through impediments and certain impediments and how it like affects you. And he at one point asked us all to choose like a substance, and mine was mushrooms. And so yeah, it lended itself really nicely to that situation, because I was like, I've been here before.
Yeah, because I actually, as an audience member, I was like, I had those brief, believable moments. Like, did they really, are they really drunk? Did they really take mushrooms?
Yeah.
You sold me. It was really good.
Johnny is a great scene partner as well. He's very playful, and there was a lot of times that he's intuitive, and he knows the scene very well, and he knows what to try to push and get out of the other actor really well. So I have to, thank him a lot for a lot of that.
Yeah, because the majority of the movie is the two of you, right? If it's not just you, it's the two of you.
Yeah.
And you guys worked really well together. Curtis, did you then, once you knew Danielle was who you wanted, did you go and audition them together?
Yeah. So for the callbacks, I had a few pairings. I had a couple people come back for Alexis, couple people come back for Eric, and I switched them throughout the day. And I had Johnny and Danielle go their pairing last of the day, just to confirm my suspicions, which were correct. That's why she looked at me and said, "You look so calm." I was like, "Yeah."
I think I gave you a hug after. And it was like, as I was leaving, I was like, I feel like that was weird, but I hope it was.
But maybe it's like subconscious, like this is gonna work, or this is we found the team kind of thing, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Your
mean, it
subconscious.
really. We were very fortunate, and I'm very fortunate to have all these people that wanted to work on this thing that I wrote. It's kind of unbelievable to me, but I feel like everybody sort of elevated each other. So
Now, all the people that worked on it, are they all Austin from cast to crew? Everybody Austin, Texas based?
for the most part, I know we had some hair and makeup come from Las Vegas, I want to say, or LA, and we had some people from Dallas come down. Most of it was Texans. Am I missing? Did we have anybody else come from out of town?
Well, no, that's all right. And then, because you mentioned in like your description and stuff, and one of the cool things about your movie is like you did a little time capsule, possibly of Austin,
Right.
Texas.
Yeah.
Um,
All the music. That was a no way I would waver on that. All the music had to be Austin musicians because it's not gonna jive if it's not all Austin musicians. So
right, right. No, I love it. There's some great music in it. And then you also got some great shots of Austin. Like, I'm trying to remember. Like, I like the opening sequence. Then you go to drone shots, and then you have her first day in Austin, where she's like,
oh
I
right.
don't know, eating cafe outside. And then with who's the main lead, the character's name? I forgot his name. It is
Eric, the character
Eric.
Eric,
Yeah.
Johnny Mars.
When you guys are on mushrooms going around to Austin or with the balloons, stuff like that, the carnival, just you
Oh
captured Austin.
yeah, that the balloon man is my friend Sam Greyhorse.
Yeah.
So he is kind of famous around town. He rides his horse around town. He'll ride it into some of the clubs. So that was the guy that gave her the balloon in those
Yeah.
scenes.
So what I like what you tried to do or you did do is Austin is also a character in the movie,
Yeah, yes,
right?
without a doubt.
And
And you see the difference, the good and the bad of that
yeah.
character.
And so what's because you say in your description stuff like what's going on with Austin? It's like is Austin changing? Are you getting worried? Because you kind of touch on that theme too.
Yeah,
I think even one of your lines is "There's always something going on." I don't know what that's
yeah.
referring to exactly, but
Well,
uh,
I mean, on some level, something's always going on. Like there's always events because that was sort of what was going on at the time in the movie per se. There was the festival going on. There's always something going on. There's always gentrification going on here.
yeah.
There's always the creative class is being pushed out of here because they can't afford to live here because people were buying homes here sight unseen. So yeah,
Well, yeah, that's why I asked because it's already happened in San Francisco, unfortunately,
yeah.
and I'm still hoping, and I haven't been to Austin in a long time, but I hope it still has that creative element that looks like you captured. That
It's
it's not going to
well,
be.
that's the thing that I really think we captured something that I don't know if we'll be able to get back to because it was right before COVID, and a lot of those places don't even exist anymore. I mean, there's clubs that we filmed in that A aren't physically there, and B are now totally different. The Barracuda, which had the beautiful stained glass windows, that's now a comedy club. And it was a place to go see music. There's nothing wrong with comedy clubs, but my point is, a lot of these places just don't even
Yeah,
exist anymore.
Danielle, how's Austin for you right now? What's happening in Austin in your world?
Um, it's okay. It's pretty slow as far as film goes. I mean, there's several big shows here, which is nice, which is helpful, but it's kind of at this point just like trying to keep COVID at bay, and trying to keep those shows going if they can.
Right.
Um, but I think like on the point of the creatives being kind of pushed out, there's this group of like indie filmmakers I think that are struggling right now because it's COVID has made everything in filmmaking so much more challenging and so much more expensive. And so in order to make a movie like this 3 years ago, you had to have this sum of money. And now it's like this sum of money.
Yeah, right.
And so it's a really different experience, I think. because I really have been part of like an indie filmmaking scene for a long time, like 10 plus years. So, yeah, it's different. There's a lot of commercials. There's a lot of different kind of work,
So
content.
the work's gonna come back, I believe, but like Austin's gonna be altered as
For
a person, in a way. This way, San Francisco has been changed, right?
Right.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
the city's character, like you said, that personality is definitely going to change.
Sure.
Yeah, yeah. Which is for better or for worse, we're not sure. Probably not for
Happening.
the
Yep.
best. Yeah, not happy about it, especially if the creatives get kind of pushed out.
Yeah.
But so talk to that subject a little bit about music too, like because like South by Southwest has probably been canceled the last couple times, right? Is music still gonna survive there?
Well, I mean, it's hanging on.
Yeah.
I mean, there's
It's
still
hard.
musicians here, but a lot of musicians have had to move out of town. So they're either moving 30 minutes, 40 minutes, an hour down to San Antonio, something like that, or just moving out of state entirely because it's, without knowing that you can go back on tour and make money, it's really hard for musicians. So they can't really play and make any money here in the clubs because people aren't going out to clubs and the tours aren't really happening the way they normally do.
Right, right.
Because like Danielle said, it's like making a movie. You go on tour now, it used to cost this much and now it's going to cost this
Yeah,
much
yeah,
because everything takes longer when you're wearing a mask and
yeah.
distancing and
But one thing that came through to me too is it seemed like you had community involvement. Like you might have mentioned just even the musicians, but getting the locations, getting people. It seems like it was a Austin community type of indie film.
yeah, actually, I was just talking last night with a woman who did the VO when they're in New York, and she's the reporter at Austin at the festival, talking on the news broadcast that Alexis' character is watching, and she's a DJ at the local radio station. The next voice, who's the TV anchor, is also a local DJ. They put out ads for us when we filmed at the big club scene, at the Grateful Shed club scene. So we had, totally free, the big radio stations giving us some like, hey, come be an extra in this movie
Wow,
tomorrow. So it's like, wow, yeah. So you take a few steps forward and people will start helping and come with you. So
that's cool. That's great. And then just a few more questions.
yeah.
Danielle, how was it working with Curtis? And you can was he a pain in the ass? Was he a hard driver, or was he fun to work with? Actually, what was the collaboration like?
Curtis was great. I think like a lot of it is summed up in that moment where he was like, okay, so this movie, like one of my huge inspirations is Blow Up, and I was like, you have no idea. I love Blow Up. And so we connected a lot on inspirations and just movies that we both really liked, and shared movies that neither of us had seen.
Yeah.
And I can remember one specific day that will probably always stick in my mind for the rest of my career. But we had shot a scene the day before that was a really like quick, like short scene in the bedroom. Um, and we were kind of like pressed for time and we were kind of rushing. And the next day, like, so we finished that day. I go home and I'm like, at home, you always like mull over everything that you've done. And you're like, did I do it right? Did I do it wrong? Is everything okay? Did I ruin the movie? And I had this like moment of panic that I had missed like this huge moment
Oh
in
no.
in the movie. And like I was just like, oh God, is this, because there's so many like little things in this movie that are unsaid, and
Yeah.
um like Odyssey moments. So
That
I
sounds like you're sharing like actor, nightmares or something. Just you
a
go.
little.
I caused the
So
nightmare.
I came the next day and I immediately found Curtis and I was like, I think I ruined the movie. I think I messed everything up. And he was like, what are you talking about? And I was like, this scene, and it's this and it's this and it's this. And he was like, and he like put his hand on my shoulder and he was like, I got you. I would never let that happen. Like, we're a team. Like, this is
Yeah.
the two of
Well,
us.
I have to tell you, I don't know what Curtis was thinking, but if I was a director and I heard an actor come and share what you share, like, I'd feel so good that you are that involved and that invested, and you're thinking that. I mean, that would make me feel good, right?
Yeah.
As opposed to
Well,
an actor that comes in. Go
Well,
ahead.
it gave me a lot of peace because it was like this moment where I was like, oh, like somebody is on my same brain wavelength and has my back and is seeing and thinking of the same things that I'm thinking of and is not going to let me miss something
Yeah,
that, you know. So it was,
right.
yeah, it was great.
yeah,
Very
I
great.
remember I remember that day and, and that moment. But I do remember we spent a lot of time on set. We would just talk about movies, while they're setting up the lights and the camera and everything, and you have that downtime in between. And so we would just go back and forth about movies, so that we had a vocabulary that we in touchstone that we could always go back to. And I was lucky that Danielle had seen a lot of these things already, because how many people in 2020 have seen movies from 1960. I'm asking a lot from some young people and myself, because I wasn't around then. So like, these are all movies that I had to seek out and discover, and I was fortunate to work with people that were that interested in films that they had sought out and discovered these movies on their own, or were led to them. However, I
Cool.
remember, I think Danielle, you said, was it your director friend in Oklahoma that gave you that blow up poster?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It was a DP friend in Oklahoma that gave me that blow up poster for my birthday one year. Because I had said I was like, I want one of the huge blow up posters, like the huge ones. And obviously those are like $5,000, like the vintage ones.
Yeah.
But yeah, my friend was just like, I got you this one. And I was like,
What
thank you, you're the
I think
best.
you had just gotten it, right? I don't want to
Yeah,
say your birthday or anything, but I think you had just gotten it like maybe a month or so before we
yeah,
started filming. You're like, I just got this thing too.
yeah,
And it's like, yeah, it was that
yeah.
kind of
It was really
synchronicity that was
kismet.
going on.
Yeah. I
How
think
long was
Charlie had a lot of,
how long was the shoot? How long was production?
About a month.
yeah,
I think
right at
we
a month.
had 19 days shoot.
And then what was the biggest challenge? Was there any hiccups, any bumps in the road? Besides Danielle, even you, but maybe it's just your own fears that got the most challenging. But what was the biggest challenge for both of you?
Um,
Was there any? Or,
do you have? Was there any? There was probably a billion.
I mean, movie
Yeah, I'm
making's
like, I think
hard.
that there was
Period.
a lot,
Right.
but
Yeah.
yeah,
Um,
I think, I mean, all of the only thing that sticks with me is like the really micro, small things. Like one morning, I wore these same earrings the whole movie, and like I was putting a shirt on, and I like it flipped out, and I was still at my house, and I couldn't find it, and I was gonna be late, and like I can't be late. Like I'm very type A in all of these ways, and so like I just went to set and I called Erin, the costume designer, and I freaked out. I was like, I can't find this earring, and she like went to Target and got it. Like it was so like those kind of things were
Yeah.
like really stressful to me, but
Well,
um
as a costume designer, you probably were very attentive to that as well.
right.
I was like, there's a mirror shot and like you're gonna see it. And yeah, it just like ruined my morning. And I was like, it's not that
But
big
you
of a
were that was an extra benefit to Curtis because then you kind of were watching
Yeah.
wardrobe as well.
Oh, yeah,
deal. Yeah.
without a doubt. It helps to have somebody as engaged and invested as Danielle was,
Yeah.
because I'm not. I don't even. Did I give you any direction? I don't know. I mean,
Yeah,
it just
for
sort
sure.
of like we
Well,
talked
sometimes
about
that's the
it
best way,
before.
right? Like not
Well, we talked
over.
about it before the scene played out, and then the scene would happen, and if there was anything that needed adjusted, we would adjust. But those are the fun moments. Like when you're filmmaking, you want to get to those moments because really it's so much work just to get to the action. So once you do it a few times, you're like, oh, okay, well, let's dolly a little quicker, or let's get this piece of the puzzle here at this point. And those were, that's the fun part. That's why you're doing it, so that you
Yeah,
can,
yeah.
like, there's the
Well,
one scene in the studio space, and I told my DP, I was like, right on set, I pulled out my
That
phone.
was a
I'm like,
stressful day. I will
that
say
was
that That one was a stressful day.
I think that we shot 2 locations that day. I actually
It
went to a third.
was.
I went to a third location to film a band that night back at
Wow.
Sahara Lounge. So I had like a 18, 20-hour day that day.
Wow.
But for the one scene that I really like with Danielle and really good actor David Harrod, he played Rich. So the two of them, when they go into the room and they walk around, and so I pull out my phone, I pull up Breathless, and I tell my DP, I'm like, look at this scene. You've got 2 minutes to watch this scene because it's just one take, but it's about having them come around the perimeter of the room so that it felt like, oh, this is a much bigger scene than it is, when the whole room was probably like 12 feet wide.
It was so small.
It was so
It's like
small, but
30
which
people crammed in there.
can do it, but it was at the same time we had to give it some depth that really didn't exist. So
Well done.
those were the fun times.
That was one of your favorite scenes, Danielle. Do you have a favorite scene or a favorite movie making moment,
I mean,
or one
I
you're most
think
proud
like
of?
I think the I definitely think the scene on mushrooms was one of those that like it was just really nice to see it like come to fruition, like because it was that thing that I auditioned with. And so whenever you're an actor and you audition with something, you kind of have to just like separate yourself from it because
Yeah.
you're like, if I get it, great, but if I don't, I can't let this like ruin my day. Um, so to be able to like have that and to see it through. But then there was this other scene in one of the clubs where they messed with this projector and like water and light on my face in a projector.
Yeah.
And I remember showing Charlie, because I had worked with Charlie Pierce a lot before. And I remember showing Charlie Pierce when I realized what they were doing. I remember showing Charlie Pierce this scene of Evan Rachel Wood in some movie. I don't even remember what it is, but it's like very similar. And I was like, this is the dream. And he was just like, that's what we're doing. And so like to see something like that where I was like, that would be so cool. And he was like, this is literally exactly what we're doing.
And we went to a separate location just to shoot. Like that entrance to the club isn't even the same building.
No,
But
yeah.
I knew that I wanted to have that little entrance. Like that walk was very important. Important enough that I was like, that's a location move to get just this walk in. And I remember some people were like, was it really, do we need to do that? But then once she did it, it was like, oh yeah, like obviously you do that for that because it looks really cool.
It's a great looking movie, a well acted movie, good direction. What's next for you guys?
I'm currently DPing this show, and that'll be out later this year. And I'm also writing, working on a few things that I'm,
This was your first feature film, right?
Yes. So I have at least 3 more that I'm writing, like working on right now. We'll see which of those crosses.
You'll always have a script in the drawer,
That's right.
And Danielle, what's next for you?
I have a movie coming out this year at some point called Country Gold. And then I'm doing some costume design things here in Austin. But yeah, I mean, I'm kind of just hanging on for the ride as far as COVID and filmmaking goes.
Well, hopefully we're at the other end of that and we're coming out of it. But that's all the time we have. I want to thank you guys for being here. I want to congratulate you for finishing the film and getting in this film festival.
Thank you.
And I want to thank everyone for watching, all your fans, the audiences, and the people that caught the roommate here today. Thank you so much. Thanks for supporting the San Francisco Independent Film Festival and independent movies. And check out more at sfindie.com. All right, guys. I hope to meet you in real someday.
Yeah.
Real person. And if you're ever in San Francisco, if you come to San Francisco, look me up, Curtis. Both of you look me up.
Will do.
Ciao.
Thank you, Jason.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.